Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome to the XMPL Theater, and this is a performance tonight with two excellent artists, George Herms, Kei Akagi, and actually inclusion of my course collaborations project. And the students are collaborating with this performance. I just want to say that you're going to see something very special tonight. Of course, the history of George Herms's performance work is legendary. So I want to really welcome you tonight. I also want to thank Deborah Oliver for her assisting me in producing this program as well. So at this time, I'd like to introduce our Dean, Stephen Barker.
Thank you, Ulysses. Thank you all for coming. It's a great, great pleasure to have an opportunity to say a few words before this amazing collaboration begins. I just want to point out to you that the XMPL, the Experimental Media Performance Laboratory that you're in at the moment, is, for my money, the most interesting, diverse, provocative presentation, exhibition, performance space in the school, just to show you something of the way in which the diversity of the Claire Trevor School of the Arts works. At this very moment, the musicians, the actors, the dancers, etc., are preparing at the Irvine Barclay Theater for tonight's production of Company, Stephen Sondheim musical. And so on the other side of campus is this very traditional homage to the best, Sondheim is the best, of the American music theater tradition. And here we are in the XMPL doing literally the other end of the performance world, something that is truly unique. And so the history of this particular activity, the art of performance in Irvine, is so rich. Each year there's something truly unique. When you think what Deborah and Ulysses have put together with artists like Rachel Rosenthal, Nancy Buchanan, Rudy Perez, Simone Forti, this has just been an amazing opportunity to see really unique and world-class art. And tonight we have the great honor of giving our special attention to a former faculty member here in the early 70s in the art department, then the studio art department in the Claire Trevor School of the Arts, then the School of Fine Arts, George Herms, who typically frames tonight not as a tribute to himself, but to our beloved recently departed Tony DeLapp, who is commemorated here. Kathy is here tonight. You'll notice outside the door, we've just been able to commemorate a Claire Trevor star to Tony. So there are a number of really wonderful observances of some of the truly great people who have taught and have participated in the arts here in the school. George, of course, you may know, I hope you know something about the just remarkable, unique history of George Herms. He's been a great arts innovator for more than half a century. One of his works, a work entitled Me, was part of the first glimpse show that we did here in the Contemporary Art Center Gallery and the University Art Gallery. Very typical of George's incredible assemblage work. There are a couple of pieces that are represented in the big book that Kevin and a couple of us put together after that first show. George emerged first in the 1950s, if you can imagine that, as part of or as a connector to the what was then called the Beat Generation, people like Allen Ginsberg, Jack Kerouac, Lawrence Ferlinghetti, artists like Wallace Berman and others. But of course, he also, from the very beginning, was a really radical interdisciplinary performance artist, working across from painting and drawing to assemblage work, to collage work, to poetry, to film, to theater, and of course, all the way up to the kind of collaborative work that you're going to see tonight. He was a real pioneer of California assemblage work, which is itself a kind of three-dimensional jazz riff. If you think of some of those people like Ed Keenholz and George driving around the Southern California area, seeing interesting things by the side of the road, picking them up and putting them in the car, taking them back to the studio and then deciding what to do with them. Some of the most amazing juxtapositions, speaking of jazz riffs, came about as a result of those amazing forays out into the world of found objects. But as I say, George worked across many, many different media, and it's remarkable as what I call a conversation, which is rich both in quite meticulous craftsmanship and yet presenting itself as a kind of often very whimsical improvisation as well. He himself has called his theater pieces Joseph Cornell boxes big enough to walk around in. You see one of them in front of you tonight, which a number of people are going to be walking around in while we partake. And like Cornell, or like Ed Keenholz, for example, George Herms creates alternative universes, literally surround pieces, through the provocative alchemy of transformed found objects that challenge received perceptions of art, of life, of materiality, and of course of language as well. George has always been, in his creative life, his own man, his own artist. About himself, he says, "I never went to art school, I don't like categories, and my two enemies are tradition and impossible." Deborah Oliver has called him the master shaman of recycled urban decay. You see that in front of you as well. I think it's a lovely phrase. And in 2015, at the age of 80, George premiered a free jazz opera at Red Cat up in LA, featuring large sculptural instruments, live and recorded video, the Bobby Bradford Motet, Theo Saunders Group, Diana Briscoe. And so across this spectrum of amazing performance, it's so fitting that tonight George joins with UCI's great jazz pianist, Kei Akagi, for Moten Swing. And before they get to work, it's my great honor and pleasure to present George Herms with the 2019 Claire Trevor School of the Arts Lifetime Achievement Awards. George, come on up.
Thank you very much. This is beautiful. Just beautiful. This is for all of you. This is for all of them. All of the ones. This is the youth. It's coming from
Now let the fun begin.
all right. Thank you. Are you guys okay? You ready to rock and roll? Go for it, man.
break here, and off we go. Okay. Two bricks. 2 bricks and a brick. Okay, knock them dead.
Past.
Future.
Past.
Future. Present. 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 Present.
自我生来，未尝有相识者，虽无意求之，亦为已然。桃花虽落，过客已然颇多，如意者寥寥。自感不如意，常嗟叹于荒野，叹人生之孤独，每每泣下。此事一见如出面之日而至，乃我心之所向，始觉缘之不浅，意之深，每每见如沐，思如仙灵，为世间之一观，感无情深切重，作无爱以待之。
Vos tut es meinen far sprichst du Zentoi. What does it mean for a language to be dead? Do all languages go through a cycle of death and rebirth over time, like a snake shedding its skin or a butterfly emerging from its cocoon, as language grows, changes, and morphs into what it is now? Every century we mourn the loss of the spoken or written word, that technology is stealing away the literacy of our children, even if it could be making it more accessible to every child. We don't speak in Shakespearean English anymore. We have slang and multicultural influences, showing that our language is still very much alive. But is the death of a language when nobody speaks it to their mother anymore? Like the Egyptian hieroglyphics, decoded only by the discovery of the Rosetta Stone. And Yiddish, Vos is Jarben oin misdreid der streiks nooit him? What I am speaking now, that died out 3 generations ago after home, language, and culture were torn away, leaving only scraps and changed names behind. Latvia to America, Jews to secular, Rabinowitz to Robbins.
There is a place that only exists within my unhealthy mind, a place where invisibility and impossibility exists. There is a wall that is built up around this world, though built out of protection, it has become a form of entrapment. Isolation, loathing, worry, anxiety, low self-esteem, and questioning, always questioning, second-guessing, pretending, and fear. These are the protectors of these walls. Each brick placed carefully throughout time. As years pass, they meld into one another, reinforcing, supporting one another. And this is a body. This is a body of bravery, of willpower and strength. This body is not alone. It is mine. It has seen both heartache and joy. This is a body that fights. It is not weak. It is not lacking in bravery, just will. This is not a body of greatness, nor failure. It resides somewhere in the in-between, within the confines of my unhealthy mind.
They told me to write a poem, so I wrote a poem. This is my poem. I call it Poem. The doctor Day keeps the apples away. I visit their office at the start of my day. They hand me a note that in chicken scratch says, allergic to apples, symptoms, amnesia. In truth, I had another poem written, the right length, more thoughtful, not skin-crawlingly appalling. And now you're thinking, gosh, and I thought you were just stupid. But it was about a dead rat, and no one wants to hear an elegy for a dead rat. So I bring you this instead. Panna Mexicensis, Panna Mexicensis. Here I stand, forever yours, convenient and defenseless.
50-50, sin saber lo que se requiere para una vida perfecta. Anuncios en la televisión, te das cuenta que han pasado los años y nadie se recordó de tu cumpleaños. 50-50 de banco para comprarte al menos unos zapatos nuevos para ir bailando. Te olvidaste cómo amar y todo sabe agrio. 50-50. Te das que no son muchos los meses que te quedan hasta que por fin se olvida de ti. 50-50. Te das que todos los momentos que has pasado esperando solo te pertenecen a ti. 50-50. Y te das un respiro. 50-50. Que somos iguales. Te quedan años, pero de todos modos quieres llorar.
My deep gratitude to my late friend, David Andrew Torres, for inspiring me to be brave enough to talk to you about all of this tonight. I can't talk about it, that's the thing. It's awkward, it's stupid, it's cliche, I know. And I met you here. But you weren't supposed to do that. You were supposed to make me feel safe. You were supposed to stop me. I wish I had stopped you, but you know that I couldn't. Pero lo es importuno, es estúpido, es cliché, yo sé. Nightmares, anxieties, guilt, concern, worry, and stress. I started clenching, straining my jaw as I tried to sleep, destroying the muscles every night. Because you just had to do this. I brush my teeth, dolor de mandíbula. I talk, dolor. I eat something, dolor. I sleep, dolor. I see your girlfriend, dolor de mandíbula. I try to paint, dolor. I think of tinfoil, of surfing, of homemade cookies, of be-bop, of Mondrian, of Roland Barthes, of mythology. I think of being full of adoration for one person and full of panic for one person. Dolor. Pero lo es importuno, es estúpido, es cliché, yo sé. My dentist says I will have this problem for the rest of my life now. You're planning a future of paintings, of turning 30, of marriage, of babies, and apartment hunting in Echo Park. Not endless, expensive dental treatments, physical therapy, and effective treatments for emotional trauma. But maybe it's all just inscrutable, and maybe that's the hardest lesson to learn. Ya no sé qué me siento sobre la situación, pero yo sí sabía que yo necesitaba decir lo que pasó a alguien. Alguien necesito saber.
I would not wish anxiety on my worst enemy. To feel out of control of your own body, it is worse than any pain I could imagine. Thinking you are going to die, thinking that this is the last breath you will take is such a horrific feeling. My tongue in my mouth is thick like a strip of dry cloth. You are not convinced that it is over until you feel the ache of exhaustion slowly run over your body. But until then, you wait. This too shall pass. This too shall pass. Your heart is not cut out for this amount of anxiety. Your brain, your skin, your blood can only handle so much. So much. Too much. I want to live, God. Can you hear me? My vision, wavy, eyes drooping. Can't tell if it's from the anxiety or the medication or the cold. I just want to be better. I want my body to know rest. Please let it know sleep. I want to see the birds in the morning sky.
Be an inspiration and fuel their deepest desires to the very core of their heart. Urge an artist to create. Your essence may survive centuries. Through a lover's passion, you transcend time. Your bliss cannot fade. It's not a new concept, but rather one of the past. This has only been realized amongst the most prevalent thinkers. Reality has never been so elastic. Being loved by an artist is a kind of love that supersedes the physical realm of being. If you're not by my side, I make a promise to not let you die. Your spirit resides in a place where lines between past and future are not needed. This is the reality of immortality to an artist. Eternal romance, yours truly.
I'll show you the truth. One more time.
The Junk Sculptors Drum Circle. I'd like to ask you all to come and pick out And this is a pile of artworks and junk. They will determine which is which. Trying to teach a metronome to swing. Call it a theater piece. The Conceptual Film Festival. 1 week we have Geezer Noir films. The next week we have Nutcase Noir films. He wanted to be his own legacy band. The first wisp of onshore flow tell the sunbather time to go. Blue tarp corral, language is junk. Words as rusted objects, sounds of clanging metal and sticks of wood, beating out the message. Now, ready or not, here we come. Here we come. Yes, sir, yes. One man's reverie is another man's rush hour. And on the days the Alzheimer's wanes, you walk into a room, get what you want, and exit. Now what do you do for the rest of the day? It's just not as much fun. If anything I just said is pertinent to what we were talking about, I apologize. It won't happen again. My goal is total pataphysics all the time. Every day the portable press goes into action, and at the end of the day, an illustration for an unwritten poem, an appreciation, a birthday celebration. Now, Genesis myth, the one that I did a theater piece on, was called the Egg of Night. It's from ancient Greek. The Egg of Night was resting on chaos. And out of chaos came love. And love pierced and vilified all things. And the scientists there, they say the Genesis myth is called the event horizon. So being the artist, I immediately made a trophy, a Lifetime Achievement Award to the event horizon. Writing in the dark becomes you. It goes with your stare. Kei takes a simple melody and flies with it, uses the sky as a springboard. From punchline to sucker line, cover vast expanses with shallow ideas. For the green room gang, organic decorum, I explained to them, Jakob Bema had that organic decorum, the shaping principle in a work of art is abided by the work of art. And the chorale of letters, I told them that Duncan MacDonald is a wonderful poem, me and Mrs. Jones, and the chorale of letters out of which all things are described by the chorale and those letters, but there's much, much more. And secondhand smoke for the green room gang, it's not secondhand smoke that kills, it's secondhand thoughts. You must remember this, the Alzheimer's theme song. As time goes by, we'll be together again. But who knows where or when? Is it all going in one ear and out the other? Is it just too much to hear? And there's another one here too. Okay, look at that. A Moten Swing. Yeah, presented with a Moten Swing. Now, Sarah Kane and I were a team at here at the Newport Harbor Orange County Museum, 2 schools, and this is what she wrote. Language is, she's an abstract painter. Language is frequently used to tell the viewer what they are experiencing. I've always gravitated towards abstraction for the openness it allows. I use it in a way similar to the space between a hypothesis and a conclusion. Deep shit. It is a free zone, experimental. I never set out to make an artwork knowing what it will end up being. I don't see the point in doing what is already known. The process is about discovery, freedom, and the evolution of thought. Tomorrow, nonchalant, straining at the bit, a leisurely summer, don't short-rein her. And for the peanut gallery. Now, and the Lord says, you know, when you get old, your mind starts to unravel. My mind is unraveling, so the Lord said, let the mind unravel, and so shall it be. Get behind it and come out swinging. The symphonic schizophrenic. Now, passing on the keys to the kingdom of art, the way Bird told Sonny Stitt, I'm giving you the keys to the kingdom. Bill Evans said, keys don't buy them. The steam of combustion, in order to get power, makes me sick to think of. It is so wasteful. Sunshine is a form of energy, and the winds and the tides. There must surely come a time heat and power will be stored in unlimited quantities in every community, all gathered by natural forces. 100 years ago, Thomas Edison said that. Said, I'll do the trick myself if someone doesn't get on it. So we better get on it, gang. You know, if Thomas Edison can bring us to light. And all this time, he thought he had the IQ of a dog whistle. And that concludes our portion of what is known as, I would also just like to say one last time, thank you to Tony DeLapp. I have never been to an art school. He hired me to teach here in the 70s, and he gave me everything that I needed. It was called Something About Color by George Herms. So the crowns, I would like at this time, well, I'll tell you how the crowns come about, okay? I call them egg carton crowns, and the reason they're called an egg carton crown is that you take an egg carton and you do this, and if these lovely compatriots, my friends in art, would come forward, I'd like to give each one of you an egg carton crown. This is how they're made. And then I have a bag of, here, I can just pass them out. Here, help yourself. Here you go. There, yeah, here's some. Help yourself. There you go. Is that one? No, this one doesn't have a thing. Oh, we need rubber bands. Oh, well, here, you want rubber bands? Just a second. Help yourself. 3 or 4, depending on how tight you want it. I need rubber band. Find one with a rubber band. Okay. You all set? And so, with these crowns, I would like to pronounce you all masters of pataphysics. You all have an advanced degree in pataphysics. Pataphysics is from Alfred Jarry, the Surrealist poet, and pataphysics was the study of the absurd.
Thank you,
Now, yeah, you're free to move about. You do whatever you want. I'm going to talk to Kei for a second, because okay, so what I have here is, you know, Rachel Rosenthal once had me work with her in her improvisation. She's the queen of improvisation. She would have no rehearsal, no direction, no discussion, no theme, no plot, no net. So that's what Rachel taught me. And what I bring to you is there's a Lester Lannan Society Orchestra in New York, and he would play for like Billy Joel's wedding and shit. And so they would just, play song after song. Now I know all these songs, the first line, but I don't know the second line. So I'm just going to sing the first line. Smoke gets in your eyes, who I won't dance just in time in the still of the night. I don't know how the 12-beat rag goes. Some enchanted evening, Bloody Mary and the dun-dun-dun, and honey bun goes. Okay. Younger than springtime am I. I'm going to wash that man right out of my head. Guy Schoenborn, I don't know who that is. If I love you, June is busting out all over. I could write a book, bewitched, bothered, and bewildered. April in Portugal, I don't know. Anyway, always true to you in my fashion. So in love, it's too darn hot. The Wang Wang Blues, you probably know that one. People will say we're in love. Oh, what a beautiful morning. The surrey with the fringe on top. Why do I love you? Make believe, old man river. Dixie, that night they drove old Dixie down, and all the people were singing, roo-bop, shabam, the-coop-a-mop. Shall we dance, getting to know you? Hello, young lovers, wherever you are. Buckle down, Winsocki, buckle down. Sunshine girl, I don't know. It's good to be alive. My heart belongs to Daddy. All of you, that old devil moon, and the Toreador song, I don't know that one. Orchids in the moonlight, and the St. Louis Blues. You know that one? I hit it. All right, the St. Louis Blues. The music goes round and round, da-da-dee. Rhode Island is famous for you, way down yonder in New Orleans. So that's the songs that I think you should all know about and sing them every chance you get. Because I would like now, you guys are in danger, right? Okay, so we're gonna go with that. Look out, watch out, look out. You're gonna get nailed. I know you're gonna get nailed, man.
needs music.
And youth. Youth. I need youth. Youth and music. Yes. We can do it. Yes. Thank you so much. Okay. Now, you should maybe lead me over to my poem. On the side. All right. I've got a poem over there. What happened? Oh, it's a Ulysses. You must have been a beautiful baby. You must have been a beautiful doll. But hey, look at you now. Thank you very much.
George Herms, ladies and gentlemen. Kei Akagi and Deborah. And the students in the collaboration projects class, they all came along greatly after some long rehearsal. What can I say? This has been a very interesting experience. And I hope you enjoyed it. And hopefully you'll be back next year. And I also want to thank our dean, who helped us get this thing going. People Barker. And Kevin Appel in the chair. We happen to have a crown for anybody who's looking. Thank you.
Thank you very much. That's her.
Kids some lights with their